ABC Listen app, your smart speaker, and on 774 AM.
This is ABC Radio Melbourne.
And it's 17 past 1. I'm joined by Spencer McLaren. You know him. He's the acclaimed actor and performer. He's been in The Secret Life of Us and Fake. He also has juggled a million things, and he's now got one of the things he's juggling is a podcast where he interviews people who are as accomplished as himself. And he joins me now. Hi, Spencer.
Hi, thank you for having me.
The podcast is called McLaren Versus.
Yes.
So I thought it was going to be a knockdown fight
between
you and
no. It's a nice Versus.
It is a very nice Versus. I can recommend your first two episodes are out with Shane Jacobson and Pierre Miranda.
Yes.
And what really stood out to me was that you know them. So I think there's that beautiful warmth that comes with talking with people that you're friends with.
Yes.
But you are all multi-accomplished people. You have so many things to talk about that we don't know about. We think we're going to know Shane Jacobson or Pierre Miranda because they've been in our lives for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of the secret sauce, if I can use that, is the familiarity. And it is the fact that they're not doing a 3-minute interview to promo something. We've got 45 minutes or so to sit down and really talk about stuff. So you really get an opportunity to see the real people behind their profiles. And it's just been such a joy to share that with people because, as you say, I know them and they're beautiful people and amazing at the many things they do. You know, like Shane has like 14 different businesses. It's crazy. You know, the things he does. They're all sort of entertainment adjacent, if you like. So it sort of makes sense in a crazy way. And Pia similarly has, constantly reinvented herself. She's gone on and, she says now she's in her yes period. She's like, yep, what are we doing? Yep, whether it's a book, whether it's, a reality show, whether it's a drama. And yeah, so there's a lot going on for all of them.
And you've said that you wanted to create the podcast to celebrate the talent we have here in Australia. What brought you to that? Do you think that to a certain extent we're ignoring what we've got under our own noses?
To a degree. I think it's probably a bigger issue than that, in that I think we have a bit of a cultural sort of drought, really, where we're just drowned in American stuff. Like we don't have our streamers legislated yet to put back in. They take all the money out. They don't do that, not to get too political, but, so that's there. And so a lot of the stuff we see and hear is American. And I love American content, but I don't think we give enough airtime to our own. And it's just a chance to remind us that these people are here, which they're obviously famous, so people do know that, but just to celebrate that and really enjoy it and be proud of our own and what we can achieve.
Yeah. You're hearing from Spencer McLaren. His podcast is the McLaren Versus, and you yourself are juggling so many roles as well. You people will know you from your acting work, of course, but how does podcasting fit within that for you?
Well, I guess it comes from the same core, wanting to create and connect and share and affect people, to a degree. And yes, I've got Fake out at the moment on 10 and Paramount Plus that I'm in, and then I also produce. But all of it is just about having this sort of connectivity. And I started listening to a lot of podcasts and really enjoying them. And just kind of go, this is a whole new sort of growth area. And it's just a chance to, as I said, really connect with some old friends and part therapy, dare I say, as well. They say a problem shared is a problem halved,
Yeah, I mean, I think I was reflecting on that in both of the episodes so far. You really do touch on some vulnerabilities there. I think people are generally fascinated with actors because they really they bring the interior really to the exterior there, but not just in terms of dealing with emotions in order to act, but also just the self-doubt and
hugely
and the lack of self-care sometimes that can lead to.
Oh, look, absolutely. And we have a new episode dropping Tuesday, tomorrow, with Murray Bartlett, who's, of course, famous for White Lotus and 9 Perfect Strangers just recently. But Murray talks a lot about, like a crisis of confidence. When he'd done a lot of work here in Australia, you'd kind of go, well, you've been on everything here. And then he went to America because he felt really sort of stuck here. He was the Gillette guy, right? He was square jaw, beautiful, handsome Aussie man, and so he get pushed in a particular direction at that time, and he didn't feel like that was his strength. It was his vulnerability and sensitivity that he really wanted to play with, and wasn't really finding opportunities for that. So he just took himself out of the equation. I went to New York and just did classes and took that time to reconsider who he was and what he wanted in his value system. And that's what launched him to where he is now. That's like 20 years ago, but that's his trajectory there. And talking about that is just fascinating, because you do forget that public figures are real people, and we have insecurities, and it's challenging, and we can feel threatened and scared and all those sorts of things. And to get up in front of people and do what they do and perform, it has a price to it, and everybody loves to do it and is very happy to pay it, but it can be draining as well. So it's lovely to talk about that and share that and remind people that it's not just a tap,
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you mentioned Murray Bartlett, who's an absolute international superstar now. So that's him, Pierre and Shane, as we've talked about, Christine Arnoux, Eddie Perfect, Marina Pryor, among others. This is just your first season, let alone, you've got the next one to come. What strikes me about that is that you've got these international superstars laying bare, their souls, but in a way that, to compare it as you did with the American sort of podcast, it's not that Oprah kind of vibe either, is it?
No. It's certainly not a...
It's a very Australian sort of version of that.
Correct. It is. And I mean, I'd love to be Australia's Oprah. That's fine. Let's do that for sure. You have a car. You can have a car. It's great.
That's right. Have that career.
But it is the Australian way, and I think particularly in a world where, we want to talk about mental health more and more and all that sort of stuff, it's great to just have a chat with a mate and talk, and without, there's no underscore, in the moments, there's no cuts to pathos and moments over here where we show the struggle, but we do talk quite candidly and openly about stuff. And I think that is the Aussie way, to just have a chat with your mate and share it and not be afraid to do that.
Yeah. How much pre-chat do you do with it? Because as I say, you have these relationships already. Do you structure it? What or do you not want to tell us how you make the sausage here?
No.
Is it maybe you're in the pub? I don't know.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously I do my own research and work out what I want to do and what things I think people would be interested in, of course. And then, when they do come in on the day, I try not to do the big, hey, how you going? Oh my gosh, what's been happening this week? I try and keep all of that for on not camera, on mic.
On mic, yeah.
We do film them too. They're on YouTube as well. So it's a bit of that if you want to watch as well. But I try and keep it for that. But, like some of them I do see quite often. So it's not like, there's a lot of new news. We catch up quite a lot. And then others I haven't seen for a few years, like Marina I haven't seen for a few years. And Damon Gamo, who we went through drama school together. And Damon did, of course, that Sugar film in 2040. And he's got a new one coming out called Future Council. And talking to him about his acting stuff, which he hasn't talked about for some time because he's been so focused on documentary and sort of environmental change and activism. And then you go back and talk to him and say, do you think it's an accident that you were in Balibo, the film about the Balibo 5 and things like The Tracker, where these were, kind of morally driven, fighting stories that you've ended up where you are? And he's like, oh gosh, I haven't thought of that.
So you're the therapist.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I should be charging for this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, tell me what it's like in the podcast industry. Is it hard to, does it present the same sort of creative challenges and the nerves as well that you would have in other parts of your life? Or is it because you are, relaxing with your friends as essentially, it's become a really, how does it sit in your emotional sort of lexicon of what you've been doing in your work?
I think it's probably both of those things, to be honest, in that certainly the execution of it is very relaxed. It's very easy talking to everybody, and I love doing the research because I still find things out that I didn't necessarily know about somebody, and so I really want to talk about those. But of course, when you get to releasing it, there are a lot of podcasts out there now. Everybody's consuming them. It's kind of like the new frontier sort of thing. And it's like, wow. So you suddenly go, oh, wow, I'm putting myself on the line again. Oh. But, it's in the can. It's ready to go. So, So,
have you had good feedback?
Yeah, so far so good. We're two down. We've only been out for a week. But, so far everyone's really enjoying it, which is great. Yeah.
And so I mentioned some of the people there. I'm not going to ask you for a favourite. But, who's next week? Let's say who's next week. That's Murray Bartlett.
Yeah, we've got Murray, then we've got Eddie Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, I'm not sure yet. They're all, I kind of see what's happening, so they're all ready to go. But it might be Heather Mitchell after that.
Shane, thank you. Sorry, Spencer.
That's all right.
Shane Jacobson, I was just, who's on my mind.
We're very familiar.
He's very familiar, and I can really recommend he's your first episode, and I can really recommend this podcast. It's called McLaren Versus, and it's everywhere.
Everywhere you get your podcasts.
Everywhere you get your good podcasts. Spencer McLaren, thank you very much for coming in this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.